Hi, everybody, and good Tuesday, and thank you for being here on this blustery second day of the work week for most everyone. At least I clocked a 19-mile-per-hour gust just as I sat down behind the desk, and we can expect more of the same. A wind advisory in effect until 10 o'clock. We'll talk about the showers that are blowing in as well. Continued days of showers, thunderstorms possible tonight. A lot of precipitation on and off throughout the forecast through multiple rounds. No heavy rainfall accumulation at any one time as of right now, except if you get under one of those thunderstorms. But indeed, a pattern nonetheless of such for the next several days, but with warm air to go along with it. Top headlines tonight will include an interview with newly elected and sworn in State Representative John Blanton. He and I stood along the Mountain Parkway today as our local state highway department was putting up some extra signage and going through some other precautions, trying to make one of the deadliest spots of the Mountain Parkway safer until the expansion project can basically change the entire route in that area. The Morgan County High School was back in session earlier today. 2 students facing criminal charges. We'll also talk about and bring you coverage of last night's Sagersville City Council meeting. A couple of contentious, we can say, discussions possibly, one centering around that of selecting the 6th member to fill a vacancy on the City Council, the other about payment of the bills, and a major development today in the wrongful death trial that was being faced by Magoffin County Judge Executive, but in this case in his capacity as Dr. Charles Hardin. We'll have an update for you on that and some other big news possibly to pass along to you. First off, some apologies in store. Somebody who shall remain nameless, we wouldn't want to throw anybody under the bus on TV, of course, did not have their mic up and their audio on when it came time to present high school basketball scores to you last evening. That was their fault for all the dead air, so you just basically had to read them on your own, and for that he apologizes. There was also some technical issues. I understand that the 11 o'clock show did not air on Foothills last night. Talked to my friend Bob over there. He's got that fixed. We should be back to normal this evening. It was a Monday in all sense of the word yesterday, so indeed my apologies. A lot of headlines already in the works for the rest of this week, but I don't have time to go into them tonight. We will be talking to the owners of Town and Country, already opening their doors after that fire, and we're trying to find out more about Gina's Salon as well. That's one of the stories we'll have for you tomorrow that you'll not find anywhere else. For now, we'll go ahead and get to our top story this evening. First off, a quick update from Morgan County as the high school there was back in session today after we have learned that 2 students are facing possible disciplinary action, not just from the school itself but also by the authorities. There was extra security today for students and staff at the Morgan County High School, as there will be for the next several days, following a bomb threat that was left on a note in a bathroom discovered early yesterday morning that prompted officials to check all the students yesterday and today. Yesterday, sending them home early, either on buses, which did run their normal route, or with parents. Today, students were checked upon entering. There were no new developments today in regards to any additional threats that were made. However, it has been confirmed by authorities within the school system, as well as local authorities in West Liberty and Morgan County, that 2 students have been identified, not publicly, but known to investigators and police, as the ones believed to have left the note behind. They are facing possible criminal charges, as well as some sort of action by the school system as well. No other information about those 2 students as to their current situation as being enrolled at the Morgan County High School, but the investigation is continuing, and it's expected that charges will be filed. In his first interview with me since being sworn in as our 92nd state representative, John Blanton tells us that the state has recognize the concerns of everyone who travels the Mountain Parkway or has family and friends that does such. And he also wished to at the same time mention that, but also give praise to our local Department of Transportation in Magoffin County and Jackson for trying to make the Mountain Parkway, especially one particularly deadly spot as of late, safe for everyone who travels it until the Mountain Parkway expansion project is completed. As we are all far too aware, there have been too many documented fatalities on the Mountain Parkway over the years. Kentucky's roads in general have proven more fatal in 2016 than in many years leading up to. with the year 2016 ending with over 50 more fatalities from the year prior. 810 deaths on Kentucky's roads for all of 2016. And here in McGoffin County, one of the latest traffic fatalities to be included in those statistics is the death of 33-year-old Sarah Berry of Harrodsburg, who lost control of her vehicle on December the 31st and collided with another vehicle, Berry being pronounced dead at the scene. And starting off 2017 was another fatality, as I reported to you, almost in the exact same spot on the Mountain Parkway near mile marker 66, where 57-year-old Thomas Clausen of Lebanon, Ohio, died in a tragic crash that happened almost identical as that of Berry's. And in response to those two deaths and the near identical circumstances surrounding both, the state soon put up a warning sign, as I showed you before, and today we're on scene going to greater lengths to try to make motorists aware of one of the most deadly spots on the Mountain Parkway.
Currently, what they have done today and in the recent days is they've put up new signage leading into the curve and into the two bridges here, signage that will make drivers aware of the pending road conditions as far as the curve goes, the narrowing of the roadway coming into the bridge. You may see over my shoulder some of the chevron signs that's been put up that leads them through the curve, showing that they are entering into a curvature area. They're also been out today and had a survey crew here on the roadway doing survey of the road surface itself, checking for friction, for any unlevel areas or anything that may have be a contributing factor in not only the most recent accidents, but in an ability to correct something that may prevent any further accidents. This area for years, even back during my days as a trooper in the 90s, was an area of concern for traffic accidents, but the Department of Transportation has been very expedient in getting out and getting ahead of this situation and trying to address the issue to prevent this from happening in the future.
When I asked Blanton about his knowledge of the Mountain Parkway expansion project in his first few weeks in office, he says that there indeed is no doubt that the project will carry on, it will be completed, and it will provide a safer route of travel for all those who come through eastern Kentucky on the Mountain Parkway. I also checked with some other sources today, and I can confirm what I reported to you a few weeks ago when I said that bids were about to be let out for the remaining projects between McGoffin and Morgan County. There were 4 remaining projects between McGoffin and Morgan counties, and just a few weeks ago, 3 of those 4 were let out for bid, a total of about $77 million, and those 3 project areas have already seen pre-construction work with dirt and earth to be moving sometime this spring. And one of those projects does include the area where the 2 fatalities took place and where Blanton and I stood earlier today. There's only one project left, and that's about a 3-mile section of the Mountain Parkway that sits closer to where the old toll plaza was, where the 4-lane now goes to the 2-lane. And it's expected that that too will be let out for bid very soon. To get high-speed internet on their state-of-the-art fiber optic network for all of your home and business solutions, or to watch TV without a contract on over 200 digital channels with superb quality, or stay connected with family and friends with 24/7 telephone service you can always depend on, contact Foothills Broadband today. Or just click on their link to the right to find out how they're working to provide the latest in communications at affordable prices with exceptional service at Foothills Broadband. Now for an update on a report that I aired just days ago. It pertains to the wrongful death case against Dr. Charles Harden brought about by the family and the estate of Bridget Howard, the family claiming negligence to some degree on behalf of the doctor and the Paul B. Hall Medical Center, who has already settled the case, as I informed you. The jury trial began last week. It recessed on Friday and did so again on yesterday and resumed today. However, we have understood that it was some of that rescheduling at the first of this week, yesterday and today, that apparently has resulted in the second mistrial in the case in the last year. Testimony was to begin yesterday, but was delayed until today. Just as our cameras were arriving at the Johnson County Justice Center earlier today, everyone was leaving court and the grounds after a mistrial had been declared. The case centers around claims by the family of Bridget Howard, who say that Hardin dismissed or discharged her from the Paul B. Hall Medical Center while she was under her care about 2 years ago or so, while she was septic and should not have been released, and that resulted in her death. Since then, a year ago about this time, a jury was being seated for this case, and a potential juror made remarks in front of the other potential jurors, and Judge Preston declared a mistrial. A new jury was seated, and the trial was to begin this year, as it did for the first few days. However, while I do not have the official judgment in front of me, but am expecting it tomorrow, I did speak with clerks who say that it should be ready as of then. But from what I have been able to confirm at this hour is that some sort of situation developed after the attorney representing the Howards requested that the trial be delayed from yesterday when it was set to resume until today because one of his star witnesses could not be there yesterday. All we can confirm is that that message apparently did not reach the judge, and to his displeasure this morning, that was a central part of the discussion. We know that a mistrial was also declared or requested. On whose behalf, still yet to be determined. More on that tomorrow. But it does appear as though the case will now have to basically reboot or restart, which means that if there is a third attempt at trial, and it is in Johnson County, it could mean another year of delay. More when we have official word from the courts. Coverage of your Sayersville City Council meeting in just a few minutes. Right now, just a couple of brief announcements on tonight's community calendar. And in the first, it's a happy birthday wish. Calendar announcements brought to you by McGoffin Farm Bureau. Starting off with a birthday wish to Christy Hansen. Happy birthday to Christy Hansen from your cousin Tracy and a host of family and friends. Happy birthday, Christy. Still a relatively brief community calendar as we're starting off the new year. That will change, and events will start popping up very, very soon. Not that birthdays and anniversaries aren't events that important, but regardless of what you've got, here's how you get them on the program. Mail, email, Facebook, phone, fax. Drop them off here at the studio any way you like. And remember, the programming is always on our website at yournewstoday.com and our YouTube channel at Your News Today with Ritt Mortimer. And lastly, from our friends at the McGoffin County Funeral Home, local obituaries, with a single announcement tonight in honor of 85-year-old Mary Alice Howard Rudd of Wilmay Branch, who passed away this week, married to EJ, who survives. She's also survived by sons Jesse and Jeffrey, and daughters Valerie Crace, Vivian DeRosset, and Veronica Hall. Visitation continues this evening and up until services. They're going to begin tomorrow morning in her honor at 11. All from the McGoffin County Funeral Home, with burial following at the Rudd Cemetery on Wilmay. Now for coverage of last night's special session of the Sayersville City Council. Also, we've got several other governmental meetings already in-house and in edit for you to air throughout the rest of the week. But with last night's Sayersville City Council meeting and with Jeff Ross resigning, Paul Burchell was the only new council person at the table for the first meeting of 2017, with one of the first items of business being acceptance of Ross's resignation. And some wording on the agenda, it appears as though, and some differing opinions as to who should fill the vacancy left behind Ross led to a lengthy discussion as how to proceed and who would take the sixth seat.
First thing on the agenda is appointment of a person to fill a vacancy on the city council created by the resignation of Councilman Jeffrey Ross. It should have been to accept his resignation first. We've got to accept his resignation, then the city council has 30 days in which they can appoint somebody to be councilman. That's up to the city council. So I think that they have to vote to accept it.
I would vote to accept it.
So did y'all ever get a copy of the resignation? Okay.
So we need to change this to say.
Well, I want to see what you all want to do. If you want, it'll be up to you. It's on the agenda as it is. So, but we can discuss that if we accept his resignation.
I make a motion to accept his resignation.
I'll second.
Okay, I didn't
Jeff
hear you.
Bailey made a motion to accept Jeff Ross's resignation, and Tommy Bailey seconded. Is there any more discussion on that? All in favor, say aye. Or should I do a roll call vote on that? Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. So we have accepted Jeff Ross's resignation. Now, I know, Jeff, the law says you got 30 days, and the council does appoint.
The vacancy occurs, once you all accept resignation, you got 30 days from now to appoint someone to take the spot. If you don't, the governor wants.
So we can't do it tonight?
I didn't say that.
You can do it
I
now.
said you got 30 days. You can do it tonight, you can do it, you can call a
Okay,
special call meeting and do it whenever you want to.
I make a motion to appoint Manuel Hurd at Dixie.
Okay.
Second.
Is that the way that man?
Yeah, it's up to the council. They have to take a motion and vote.
Tommy Bailey made a motion to, Manuel Hurd, take a seconding. Any discussion on this now? Got any other members or anything you want to bring up?
Do we need to let them vote on that before we bring anybody else?
How would
I was gonna,
how would you vote on it? Do you vote and then if somebody else got another name, they bring it up?
Once you've got it voted, you got a city councilman.
we'd have to carry majority vote.
What? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if it passes by majority, you've got a new councilman, then you wouldn't be nobody else.
The question I had on this was, I noticed we had not to change this, but the ordinance setting time and place of regular meetings. If that meeting was changed, we can do this within a 30-day time limit if we change that meeting to a different timeline. Am I correct on that? As
Yeah,
long as
we
we done
agree
it
with
within the
Coach
30
Bill.
day, but it wouldn't be a special meeting if we change that ordinance, would it? Or would
No.
we have to amend the first ordinance and then reset the?
You have to amend it and then vote on it next meeting, don't you? On the ordinance.
Yep, that's not the way it's in line on the.
No, I'm just asking that question. I'm just
Yes, well,
Say, do we say that?
we need to do one thing at a time, then we.
That's what I'm saying, how you do it.
Well, I mean, you follow your agenda.
I mean, should they vote on it or should they discuss anybody else who wants to go before they
That's
vote on
that's
it?
up to the council. You got a motion. If you want to discuss somebody else, you'd probably table the motion. I mean, because you got a motion and a second right now on the floor.
So it's ready to be voted on.
So you got discussion right now, and
Okay.
you can have
We have a
discussion,
discussion on
and
it.
then if you can either vote, or you can, somebody make a motion to table it, it can be tabled. I mean, that's the procedure, so I mean, it can be voted on right now, I mean, nothing says it can't be voted on. Or you can have a discussion, or you can, somebody can make a motion to table it, I mean, it's just like a normal motion, it's like every other motion that comes before the council.
But you're saying we already have a motion and second on the floor.
You already got a motion, second on the floor.
Does that mean it's
So
still
it's ready to be voted on.
gotta go for a vote then, I guess, no? And then,
Unless somebody makes a motion to table it, then you all agree to table it. Or it's withdrawn, I guess that's the two.
I'd like to make a motion that we do table it.
I say we vote on it.
Well, you had your motion, now Jeff made his motion, does anybody want to second that motion? To table it.
What's the use of waiting until 30 days when you can bring up somebody else if you don't like who's on the table?
Well,
Somebody's gotta be put in there.
I would like to take, and I'll say this, Kenneth was the people's choice in line, made by the people of the county, made by the people of this city. He was the next person in line on that council, and I'm gonna say that, in my opinion, you know, it's hard to look past him because of that. I have nothing against Manuel, I think the world of Manuel, I think the world of Kenneth, but Kenneth was the next man in line with the votes from the city.
I feel the same way. To me, it has to be portable, you know.
I just think if it's any of us.
You know, it don't make a difference.
That's what I go on, if it was anybody here that was the next in line, I would say the same thing.
Manuel hadn't got those, he ain't got the okay from the public except for the two. I'd vote for Manuel if just to run, but I wouldn't do it against poor boy because poor boy is entitled to do his position.
It's hard to look past him, like I said, I look at that if there's anybody here at this table. They was next in line, it'd be hard for me.
Well, now this has been, I think, being handled wrong.
Well, it
Since the
wasn't.
motion's already been
Time out,
made.
Time out, it's kind of my fault, because it should have been accept the resignation tonight, and the next meeting should have been to appoint. That
Well,
way you can go to executive session and discuss it and talk about it, and you don't have to hurry it
so you're
up.
saying one thing on the other hand, but your agenda says the other.
I know, and that's why we gotta go.
So I don't know, this is a.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Well, is there any problem, Tommy, of tabling it and us talking about it for
Well,
3 days?
I'm gonna,
I mean,
I'd probably still say manual hired, so it don't matter.
well,
To me,
that's
I mean,
fine, that's no
Yeah,
problem,
but
but
you know, it's
I
gotta be done either now or then, so what's the matter now? Vote on either one, vote on both, vote on poor boy and man.
So now, let me get this straight. So if another person resigns, that means that seat would go to Murray, right?
No.
Just
No,
saying,
what Jeff and Tom was saying is since the next person in line,
it's poor boy.
they feel that they should be the one hit, and
Right.
maybe if that went on down the
So
line,
then
they should
if
be.
somebody else resigns, the next seat should go on down to Murray,
That's
right?
what they're saying. That's
Okay.
what they're like.
All right.
I'm about with you, Jack. This is about done me and.
Okay. All right, let's move on. We table it.
As for the actual vote, it was a motion made by Jeff Bailey to table Councilman Tommy Bailey's motion. Bailey's motion was seconded by Councilman Tom Frazier. And with Tommy Bailey and Tex Holbrook voting against tabling, Tom Frazier, Jeff Bailey, and Paul Burchell each voted to table, meaning that the council and the mayor have up to 30 days from last night to fill the vacancy. Later, in other business, all voted to approve the minutes of the previous meeting with the exception of Tommy Bailey, who voted no. And when it came to payment of the bills, again, Bailey questioned them, creating another point of contention.
What about Napa? What about Napa, Jeff? You asked about everybody at Napa. What about Napa? Paul?
That's just what I said.
What are you buying? What's the city buying so much of a new vehicle?
Go on and get the receipts and bring them. From now on.
I don't want
maybe
any
y'all-
damn
No,
receipts.
if you, well, you'll see what he buys.
I'm asking you a simple question.
They
Right
buy
here.
cleaning stuff, they buy stuff for the city
Okay.
stuff, buy
Well,
stuff.
you
No,
know,
we'll get you a list. No, if you wanna be a hard ass, now we'll get you a list.
Hey, anybody can make up a receipt.
You want me to give them to him, or you?
I don't wanna see them.
Give them to him.
You want me to read them off?
No. Well, yeah, go ahead, read them all.
But then you read them, you read them all off.
Go read them
Or
all.
put them up. I don't wanna see them.
Seven. We gonna both approve the bills. Everybody say aye. Aye. All opposed?
No.
Tom Bailey. All right, move on.
And moving on, and before adjournment, they discussed and left the meeting time and date the same as it has been for the past year. In the financial statement, the mayor informed the council that they had $809,000 in revenue for the first 6 months of the fiscal year ending on December the 31st, which put them within $5,000 of last year's revenue at that time. As for the next meeting of the Sayersville Council, there will be a special session held with the purpose of filling the vacancy left behind by Jeff Ross. We'll let you know as soon as that has been set. Now for our last few items of business on the program tonight. Right after this forecast and a word of thanks, I am out the door. It is time for some home court basketball action tonight. The Montgomery County Hornets hosting the Johnson Central Golden Eagles. The Hornets are at 10-6, while the Johnson Central comes in at 11-3. I can tell you that we also understand that Dylan Arnett will not be playing tonight. He did suffer some injuries in the Mountain Classic. As of right now, it is not confirmed as a tear. Not necessarily confirmed either way, but there's a good chance that he did not suffer his third tear to his knee, and that's what we're hoping and praying for. Nevertheless, he's out for at least the rest of the week, so the Hornets have that against them tonight, going into what's going to be a big district matchup. Tip-off for the varsity game set for 7:30. Hope to see you there. If not, or even if you are, we'll have some highlights for you on tomorrow night's program. Here's your weather forecast that does have winds and rain blowing in. Not one, but a couple of lines of showers. The first one right now making its way into the viewing area if you're catching the end of the first program, the early show, and another line along the actual frontal boundary a little later on out. But those showers, maybe even a few thunderstorms, aren't going to affect temperatures a great deal. Look at this. We have My apologies, a little cough there. We have cloudy skies tonight, 51, breezy as we've already covered, and showers on the way. Southwest winds 5 to 16, 28 mile per hour gust. Wind advisory expires at 10. It's starting to calm down a bit. Of course, we'll see some winds pick up when we do see that frontal boundary roll through 51 for tonight. Rainfall amounts 10th to a quarter of an inch, unless you get in one of those thunderstorms that could happen. Tomorrow, temperatures will go from 51 tonight to 57 tomorrow. Cloudy skies and showers likely, mainly afternoon on your Wednesday. More winds out of the south, and watch temperatures not drop, but actually by tomorrow night, cloudy with basically a steady temperature right around 58 degrees, not a misprint. Winds still out of the south, southwest, 11 to 26 miles per hour. Gusts expected tomorrow night as well. Warm air still rolling through, building to 64 degrees Thursday, but still with it a 40% chance of showers early, but a likelihood of showers later after certainly 10 o'clock Thursday night. So not a big break, but a little bit of a slowdown in the rain action. 64 and 40 for your high and low on Thursday. And you noticed, 40 for the low on Friday night, that's a sign, or Thursday night rather, is a sign of things to come for the last day of the work week for most everyone, But showers likely Friday, temperatures falling back to 45 for daytime highs. Showers still continuing to be a threat to the tune of 40% Friday night. For your weekend, more clouds, more showers. Saturday, cloudy, a 50% chance of showers early, but a likelihood of showers by Saturday night. And then Sunday, 49 degrees, and more showers expected, more clouds, and a low of 43. Great deal of news to cover. We've got enough to carry us through the rest of the week, but I'm sure we'll have more to add to that even. So for now, thank you for watching. See you next time, and have a good night.